Today's thought is, if you cannot do great things, do small things in a great way. I repeat it again. If you cannot do great things, do small things in a great way. Good morning everyone. Welcome back. I hope all of you are safe and fit at home, studying well and doing your work in time. This video is for the students of class 8th, subject English. And today in this video we shall cover one grammar topic. This is our chapter number 6 and the name of the chapter is Verb Forms in Conditionals. This is my lecture number 1 of the same chapter. This chapter is taken from PCW's grammar book. Students, first of all, today in this video, we shall learn meaning, types, uses and structure or identification along with examples of conditional sentences. After then, we shall discuss the homework solution of the homework which was assigned you in lecture number 2 of chapter 3, The Selfish Giant. To understand the chapter in detail, let's see what is the meaning of conditional sentences. Let's see the definition of the conditional sentences. Conditional sentences are also known as conditional clauses or if clauses. They are used to express that the action in the main clause, means without if, can only take place if a certain condition, means in the clause with if, is fulfilled. Or in simple way, we can say that a conditional sentence is a sentence that expresses a condition. A condition is something that can only happen if something else occurs. A conditional sentence contains an independent clause and a dependent clause that almost always begins with if. A conditional sentence is only a conditional sentence if it has both of these parts, means independent clause and dependent clause. Some conditional clauses might begin with when also. To clarify the meaning of conditional sentences, let's see some examples. Number 1. If I save enough, I can go on vacation. Number 2. You can have dessert if you finish your homework. So these were the examples of conditional sentences. The meaning of the conditionals depends on the verb form, which has several different patterns. Let's see how many types of conditional sentences are there. Number 1 is zero conditional sentences, or it is also known as real conditionals. Number 2 is first conditional sentences or type 1 conditional. Number 3, second conditional sentences, or we can say type 2 conditionals. Number 4 is third conditional sentences, or we can say type 3 conditionals. Type 1, type 2 and type 3 conditional sentences are the parts of imagined conditionals. So total there are 4 types of conditional sentences. Zero conditional sentences, first conditional sentences, second conditional sentences and third conditional sentences. A conditional sentence is made of two clauses. Number 1 is if clause or conditional clause, which is a dependent clause. Number 2 is main clause, which is the independent clause. The conditional clause is a dependent clause beginning with if. All conditional sentences have a clause beginning with if because it expresses the conditions. What must or might have happened. However, a clause begins with if. It depends on more information to be complete. It must be paired with an independent clause, so the dependent clause is only half of conditional sentence and couldn't be a sentence on its own. The meaning of main clause is, the main clause is what provides the rest of the information to the complete a conditional sentence, or it is a result of a conditional sentence. It is an independent clause that states the result of the conditional if clause. In other words, it is the then part of an if or then situation. As you see, this main clause expresses complete thoughts and can be sentences on their own, but you can also see that we also need them to complete the thoughts of the dependent clauses. To clarify it, let's see the example. If you stand in the rain, you get wet. In this example, if you stand in the rain is if clause or conditional clause. If you get wet is main clause. Or we can say if you stand in the rain is a condition. You get wet is the result of the condition. There are certain rules to place if clause in the sentences. If clause can be placed in the beginning or at the end of the sentences. Or we can say the order of the clauses can change. Here are some rules to clarify it with examples. Number 1. If the if clause comes at the beginning of a sentence, a comma is usually used. To clarify it, let's see the example. If you stand in the rain, you get wet. So in this example, if you stand in the rain is if clause and it is a condition. You get wet, it is a main clause and it is a result of the condition. So comma is required because if clause comes at the beginning of a sentence. Number 2 rule is, we don't use comma if the if clause comes at the end of the sentence. For example, you get wet if you stand in the rain. So in this example, you can see that you get wet, it is a main clause or it is a result of a condition. And if you stand in the rain, it is a if clause and it is a condition. So comma is not required because if clause comes at the end of the sentence. So this was a use of if clause in the sentences. Let's see what is the meaning of type 0 conditional sentences or zero condition. This type of conditional sentence is used to describe scientific facts, generally known truths, events and other things that are always true. Or in simple way, we can say that zero conditional sentences are known as real conditionals. They are expressing the real conditions for things that happen, not hypothetical things. They share true statements about things that will happen or do happen in certain conditions or circumstances. Remember one thing, in this type of conditional clause, if can often be placed by when. To clarify it, let's see some examples. If I am late, my father takes me to school. So instead of if, we have used in the second example when. When I am late, my father takes me to school. Let's see the structure of type 0 conditional sentences. If clause takes the following forms: if plus subject plus simple present tense. The identification of simple present tense is first form of the verb plus s or es. To make negative or interrogative sentence, we use do or does according to the persons. Main clause takes the following forms: subject plus simple present tense. For example, if you heat ice, it melts. Means this is always true. Let's see the uses of type 0 conditional sentences with examples. Number 1. It is used to express general truths. For example, if you leave the object, it drops. Number 2. It is used to express scientific facts. For example, if you pour oil on water, it floats. Number 3. It is used to express real world. For example, if it rains, the ground gets wet. Number 4. It is used to express habits. For example, if I am tired, I go to bed early. So these were the uses of 0 type conditional sentences or type 0 conditional sentences. Let's see what is the meaning of type 1 conditional sentences or open condition. This type of sentence expresses real and possible situations in the future. It is possible for the condition to be met. Or in simple way, we can say that the first conditional shares the results of situation in the future that we think is pretty likely to happen. Its form uses a conditional clauses in the present simple and the main clause in the future tense. The main clause will use a modal like would, should, could, will, may, might or can. Let's see the structure of type 1 conditional sentences. If clause takes the following form: if plus subject plus simple present tense. The identification of simple present tense is subject plus first form of the verb plus s or es plus object. To make interrogative or negative sentences, we use do or does. Main clause takes the following form: subject plus simple future tense. The identification of simple future tense is subject plus will or shall plus first form of the verb plus object. To make interrogative sentence, we use won't. To clarify it, let's see one example. If it rains, we will postpone our trip. So here, if it rains is if clause and we will postpone our trip is main clause. So this was the structure of type 1 conditional sentences. Note one thing. We can also use can, may or modal verbs plus first form of the verb in place of simple future tense in type 1 conditional sentences. To clarify it, let's see some examples. If you take a taxi, you can catch the train. If you hit the dog, it may bite you. The simple present tense in the if clause refers to the future time, not to the present time. Let's see the uses of type 1 conditional sentences with examples. Number 1. It is used to express possible plans. To clarify it, let's see the example. If I go to Egypt next month for work, I will visit the pyramids. Number 2. It is used to express promises. For example, if I have time, I will do help you. Number 3. It is used to express warnings. For example, if you touch that wire, you will get an electric shock. Number 4. It is used to express threats. Threats means a person or thing likely to cause damage or danger. For example, if you eat my chocolate, you will sleep outside. Number 5. It is used to express persuasion, means faith or belief. For example, if you drive us to the concert, I will pay for the parking. So these were the uses of type 1 conditional sentences. Let's see what is the meaning of type 2 conditional sentences. This type of sentences are used to express unreal, imaginary or improbable or not likely possible situations in the future. Or we can say in the simple way, this type of conditional sentence describes an unreal situation with regard to the present or future, a hypothetical condition that can only be fulfilled in theory. Let's see the structure of type 2 conditional sentences. If clause takes the following form: if plus subject plus simple past tense. The identification of simple past tense is subject plus second form of the verb plus object. Main clause takes the following form: subject plus would plus first form of the verb. For example, if you worked hard, you would get a first class. So this was the structure of type 2 conditional sentence. Note, or we can say, remember one thing, we can also use could or might in place of would in the main clause of type 2 conditional sentences. To clarify it, let's see the example. If we started now, we could be in time. If you phoned her, she might come. The simple past tense in the if clause refers to the present or future time, not the past time in the type 2 conditional sentences. Let's see the use of were instead of was in type 2 conditional sentences. Number 1. It is used for hypothetical situation which is contrary to the fact or reality. Means the fact is I am not you. Number 2 is when you imagine yourself in the position or condition of the other person. To clarify it, let's see the example. If I were you, I would be careful. Number 3 is it is used to give advice. To clarify it, let's see the example. If I were you, I would study more. So these were the uses of were. Let's see the uses of type 2 conditional sentences with examples. Number 1. It is used to express unlikely situations. For example, if I won the lottery, I would travel around the world. Number 2. It is used to express impossible situation. For example, if I became president, I would reduce the salaries of all politicians. Number 3. It is used to express hypothetical situation. Hypothetical means imagined or suggested but not necessarily real or true. For example, if I didn't have a headache, I would go to the party. So these were the uses of type 2 conditional sentences. Let's see what is the meaning of type 3 conditional sentences, or we can say closed condition. This type of sentence expresses situations that did not happen in past and to imagine the result of this situation. Or in simple way, we can say that type 3 conditional sentences are used to express situations that cannot exist, such as actions or events that happened in the past. They are often used to indicate a missed opportunity. Let's see the structure of type 3 conditional sentences. If clause takes the following form: if plus subject plus past perfect tense. The identification of past perfect tense is head plus third form of the verb. Main clause takes the following form: subject plus would plus have plus third form of the verb. For example, if you had worked hard, you would have got a first class. So this was the structure of type 3 conditional sentences. Note or remember one thing. We can also use could or might in place of would in the main clause. To clarify it, let's see the examples. If you had run, you could have caught the bus. Number 2. If you had tried again, you might have succeeded. Let's see the uses of type 3 conditional sentences with examples. Number 1. It is used to express regret past action. Regret means feeling of sadness or something that one has done or failed to do. To clarify it, let's see the example. If you had studied, you would have passed the exam. Number 2. It is used to express imaginary situation. For example, if I had known, I wouldn't have done that. Number 3. It is used to make excuses. For example, if I had seen you, I would have said hello. So these were the uses of type 3 conditional sentences. Let's see use of wish in conditional sentences. Number 1. Wish plus simple past tense, that is subject plus second form of the verb plus object, is used to say that something is not happening as we would like it to happen. It refers to the present situation. Or we can say that we use wish plus simple past to say that something is not as we would like it to be. To clarify it, let's see an example. I wish I knew her address. So here, I'm sorry, I don't know her address. Means that person, he or she doesn't know the address. Number 2 uses Wish plus past perfect tense, that is subject plus had plus third form of the verb plus object, is used to say that something did not happen as we would have liked it to happen. It refers to the past situation. Or we can say that we use wish plus past perfect tense when we talk about the past. For example, I wish I had seen the film. So here, I am sorry, I don't have seen the film. Here just we are imagining. Students, you have to complete your homework on the basis of the topic explained by me. And your homework is revise chapter 6, that is verb forms in conditionals, from the book or video, and based on the understanding of the topic, do exercises mentioned in the book PC Wren's Grammar as page number 38, exercise number 1 and 2. Page number 39, exercise number 3. Students, since you are not having your PC Wren's grammar book with you, so here in this video, I have mentioned your homework in detail. Exercise number 1. Complete the sentences with the correct forms of the verbs given in brackets. Number 1. If you catch the first bus, you dash there in time. Clue is get. Number 2. If she dash here, I will phone you. Clue is come. Number 3. If you try again, you dash. Clue is succeed. Number 4. If you heat iron, it dash. Clue is expand. Number 5. We dash ready if you come at 5. Clue is be. Number 6. If they dash, today I will ring here up. Clue is come. Number 7. I will see him if I dash free. Clue is be. Number 8. If we dash, we will miss the train. Clue is not and hurry. Exercise number 2. Complete the sentences with the correct form of the verbs given in brackets. Number 1. If he dash, I would have phoned you. Clue is come. Number 2. If it hadn't rained, we dash cricket. Clue is play. Number 3. If I were you, I dash the offer. Clue is accept. Number 4. If you dash her, she would have come. Clue is invite. Number 5. I dash him if I had been free. Clue is meet. Number 6. If I had lots of money, I dash round the earth. Clue is travel. Number 7. If you had run, you dash the bus. Clue is catch. Number 8. If I dash in America, I would earn a lot of money. Clue is leave. Number 9. If we dash now, we would get there by lunchtime. Clue is start. Number 10. I wouldn't do that if I dash you. Clue is be. Number 11. If I dash her, She might have come. Clue is phone. Number 12. If I knew her address, I dash you. Clue is tell. Exercise number 3. Rewrite the sentences using I wish. One has been done for you. Number 1. I don't have scooter. The answer of this question is I wish I had a scooter. Number 2. I don't know his phone number. Number 3. I am rather short. Number 4. I am not a good singer. Number 5. I didn't meet him. Number 6. I forgot my umbrella. Number 7. I can't cook. Number 8. I missed the train. So these were the exercises. If you are having your PC Rens grammar book, then you have to do the exercises in the book only. If you don't have your PC Rens grammar book with you, then you have to do these exercises in your fair notebook. Students, now we shall discuss the homework solution of the homework which was assigned you in lecture number 2 of chapter 3, The Selfish Giant, which is written by Oscar Wilde. As we have already discussed the introduction, key points and detailed summary along with word meanings in lecture number 2. As I assigned you homework which was to be done by you on the basis of your understanding, and your homework was read chapter 3, The Selfish Giant, and write word meanings highlighted in the video. Based on the understanding of the chapter, write the answers of the questions mentioned in the book It So Happened As. Page number 24, comprehension check, question number 1 to 5. Now let's discuss the word meanings of the chapter 3, The Selfish Giant. Number 1 is lowering, means to move something in low position. I repeat it again. Lowering means to move something in low position, or we can say the action of moving someone or something in a downward direction. Number 2. Wicked means evil. I repeat it again. Wicked means evil. Number 3. Wounded means injured. I repeat it again. Wounded means injured. Number 4. Rage means violent, uncontrollable anger. I repeat it again. Rage means violent, uncontrollable anger. So these were the word meanings of chapter 3, The Selfish Giant. Now let's discuss the questions and answers in detail. Question number 1, part 1 is, the giant saw a most wondered sight. What did he see? The answer of the question is, the most wonderful sight the giant saw was that through a little hole in the wall, the children had crept in means in the garden, and they were sitting in the branches of the trees. Every tree had a child in it. The trees were so glad to have the children back again that they had covered themselves with blossoms and were waving their arms gently above the children's heads. The birds were flying about and twittering with delight and the flowers were looking up through the green grass and laughing. It was a lovely scene. Question number 1, part 2 is, what did he realize on seeing it? The answer of the question is, on seeing the lovely sight, the giant realized how selfish he had been by not allowing the children to play in his garden, and that was the only reason why the spring had not come to his garden. Question number 2 is, why was it still winter in one corner of the garden? The answer of the question is, in the farthest corner of the garden, it was still winter because there stood a little boy who was so small that he could not reach up to branches of the tree. The poor tree was still covered with frost and snow, and the north wind was blowing and roaring above it. The tree bent its branches down as low as it could, but the boy was too tiny to reach it, and so he wandered all round it, crying bitterly. Question number 3 is, describe the first meeting of the little boy and the giant. The answer of the question is, on seeing the little boy, the giant crept downstairs and opened the front door softly and went out into the garden. When the children saw him, they were so frightened that they all ran away, and the garden became winter again. Only the little boy did not run, for his eyes were so full of tears that he did not see the giant coming. The giant stole up behind him and took him gently in his hands and put him up into the tree. The tree broke at once into blossom, and the birds came and sang on it. The little boy stretched out his 2 arms and flung them round the giant's neck and kissed him. Question number 4 is, describe their second meeting after a long interval. The answer of the question is, in the second meeting, after so many years, the giant saw wounds on the little boy's palm and feet. He became furious. He wanted to kill the man who had wounded the child. But the boy said that those were wounds of love. Question number 5 is, the giant lay dead all covered with white blossoms. What does the sentence indicate about the once selfish giant? The answer of the question is, the sentence indicates that the once selfish giant was blessed by the little boy who was Jesus Christ. He was happy that the giant was no longer selfish and so had returned to reward him and take the kind old feeble giant back with him to his garden, which was paradise. Students, if you like our videos, then please hit on the like button and don't forget to subscribe our channel. Thank you and have a nice day.